The only ones to express any negativity about The Last of Us, the world-renowned show and best-selling video game.
Let me ask you something. How does a once-beloved game franchise go from being a masterpiece to one of the most divisive titles in modern gaming? How does a creative lead go from being celebrated as a genius to a figure of endless controversy?
Oh, you want to start or what?
We're talking about Neil Druckmann, the man, the myth, let's just say, the enigma. Neil Druckmann, gaming's answer to Rian Johnson. A man who desperately craves the title of visionary, yet whose ambitions often eclipse his actual talent. He's become infamous for commandeering beloved franchises, injecting his personal brand of divisive storytelling.
Oh, okay. Ooh, well, so you want to do it the hard way, huh?
And leaving a trail of controversy in his wake. He's got a knack for taking credit for others' work, brushing off criticism like it's beneath him, and somehow, despite all the backlash, managing to climb even higher up the industry ladder. His magnum opus? The Last of Us franchise, a post-apocalyptic, emotionally gut-wrenching survival series that started strong but quickly spiraled into something else entirely.
Praise the Lord.
And he's a Christian.
That said, The Last of Us Part 2 did give us one of the most iconic gaming moments in recent years. Rest in peace, Fat Gerald. We hardly knew you. Fast forward 5 years. Since Part 2 left the possibility of a sequel wide open, the big question on everyone's mind is, will there be a Last of Us Part 3? Will Ellie's journey come to a definitive end? Will Abby ever regain her massive gains after the events of Part 2? And will Ellie and Dina rekindle their romance, even if things are bound to be a lot less?
It's just a bunch of pigeons!
Well, satisfying for Ellie now? For years, Neil Druckmann has danced around the topic, dropping vague hints without actually committing. Back in 2021, he claimed to have a story outline for Part 3 and admitted there had been internal discussions. In 2023, he doubled down, stating he was open to the idea, if the team could come up with a compelling story. Wait, hold on. Neil, didn't you say you already had a compelling story?
What kind of a sick bitch takes the ice cube trays out of the freezer?
You wrote it 2 years ago. What happened? At the time, Naughty Dog was busy struggling to put together the Last of Us multiplayer project, one that ultimately never saw the light of day. So, maybe Neil was a little too preoccupied to keep his own narrative straight. Fair enough. But then, in late 2023, he backtracked yet again, saying he had struggled to come up with a good concept for Part 3 before, but had recently figured one out. And then, just a few days ago, in an interview with Variety, he pulled yet another 180, saying, "I guess the only thing I would say is, don't bet on there being more of The Last of Us. This could be it." Oh no. How tragic. What a devastating loss. Truly heartbreaking. But what does this all mean? There are a few ways to interpret his ever-changing stance. Maybe he's shifting his focus toward the HBO adaptation, which, let's face it, is higher profile and probably more artistically fulfilling for him. Neil has always seemed more enamored with filmmaking than actual game development. Then there's Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, a game with possibly the most convoluted title since Metal Gear Rising, Revengeance. If nothing else, it lets Neil explore his apparent obsession with designing large, muscular female protagonists. Just slap some armor on her, make her gay, and call it a day. Anita Sarkeesian would be so proud.
Watch your language.
Oh, cut the crap. Bring on the meat.
But let's not ignore the financial angle. The Last of Us Part 2 sold just over half of what the original did. The hype was there at launch, but once players got their hands on it, and word spread, millions actively chose to stay away. All those industry awards and glowing reviews from out-of-touch gaming media couldn't mask the fact that the game alienated a huge portion of its fan base. With modern game development costs skyrocketing, to the point where even Hollywood is starting to look financially responsible by comparison, is a third game even worth it? The reality is that most of the core audience has already checked out. Winning them back would be an uphill battle.
Yes, that's why he needed the glasses.
And Neil's reluctance to fully commit to a new game suggests he knows this. After 5 years, if Naughty Dog still doesn't have a concrete vision for a sequel, maybe the best move is to walk away before doing any further damage to the franchise. And honestly, I'm fine with that. As entertaining as it would be to see what kind of forced identity politics he'd cram into a third game, I have no emotional investment left in these characters. Joel is dead, his legacy thoroughly dismantled. Ellie is a completely different person from the first game, and no amount of heavy-handed, melodramatic love scenes will ever make me empathize with Abby. But don't worry, Sony will keep milking the first game for all it's worth. More remasters, more remakes, more reskins. Anything to avoid admitting the simple truth. They got it right the first time, and they'll never top it.